session of the day. So the speaker of the session, Dr. Girish Chandra Doshi, has already joined this platform. So yesterday and day before yesterday we had his session, so no requirement of introducing him again on this platform. So I would like to request Dr. Joshi to start his presentations.
Hello.
Yes, audible
Hello.
now. Yes, audible now.
ये वॉइस नहीं आ रही थी.
Yes, you are audible now.
Hello.
Yes, audible.
Yes, my voice is coming.
Yes, yes.
Okay, now I am trying to share my presentation. I don't know.
Yes, it is coming.
Yes, I am trying to make it into full screen mode. It is coming?
Coming,
Yes,
but
sir.
it is half visible. The screen is visible.
I don't know this. Can somebody tell me what are the process basically to share this in your this software? Exact process, because I have now switched my system.
You can share the window.
Yes, I am sharing the window, but while I am going for this presentation mode, it is not coming very properly.
No, first, let us do other thing. Be in the presentation mode and then share the screen.
PPT mode and then share the screen.
I think that will work for you.
Just a minute. Where it is? I don't know where it is. Yeah. And then this. Yeah. Hmm? This is not coming. Then.
Yes, it is coming now.
Properly?
Properly.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Properly.
Okay.
Properly.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I think today's of my this presentation is more about the disaster management related preparedness in our state. And what I will be presenting in this session is basically these are the some of the live projects. It is not, I think, very much relevant in case of, I think, the research and teaching purpose, but what are going on in the different areas of the disaster management and how the different states are nowadays preparing themselves from the theory to the practical, because most of the things which we are studying or what we are teaching to our students, it is much relevance when everybody has understand. So whenever disaster will be happen, this first thing will be the response. So first thing the any of the state or the any of the government can do, this is the called the response. And after this response, the process is called the recovery. This is the post disaster of this thing. But this is the after the disaster, these kind of the activities we are performing. But many of the activities which we can perform before the disaster, this is called the pre-disaster scenario, and this is the preparedness and under the preparedness, this is the mitigation, prevention, and the risk reduction. So these are the some important part under the disaster management cycle. So it was observed while we are studying different kind of the disaster. If we invest if we invest in pre-disaster kind of the component like preparedness, mitigation, and prevention, and if we invest very less rather than this response and recovery, this disaster can be we can minimize the impact of the disaster very much. So nowadays policies are now changing from this response to the this is called the response because this is the after disaster. So response, it is not nowadays response centric. Now it is basically preparedness or mitigation kind of the centric. And nowadays NDMA is also preparing lots of guidelines and lots of rules and regulation which are now shifted towards the preparedness of the like in Odisha, I think most of your participants are now from the Odisha. Odisha has done now wonderful work after this 1999 super cyclone, and in 1999 this is basically most of your state had been affected by this intense cyclone at that time, and many of the life loss, many of the damage has been at that time it was observed. But now, after this disaster, everybody has learned a lesson. Even the central government has also learned lots of lessons. Odisha has learned lots of things, and then after they will shifted to the preparedness and mitigation. And nowadays, you observe in the last year the cyclone was happened, but there are very minimal deaths and minimal losses that has been occurred. So if you invest good in the pre-disaster kind of the things, then this our response and other recovery process can it will be our this we can be do very with a very minimal cost, or we can also minimize these things. So if we talk about the Uttarakhand, because today is my topic about the Uttarakhand. So Uttarakhand having this one of the state in the hilly state. This was created after this 2000 after 2000 when we are the part of Uttar Pradesh, and the important part of this hilly state while we are observing, this is the very prone to the natural hazard. This is due to the because we are living in a very high hills. This is the high relief, and I have also talked in my this first lecture that this earthquake activities are very predominant, and ongoing tectonism are very we can say very it is now a continuously going on, and this tectonism can also cause lots of landslide in this area. Lots of this earthquake activities are also happening. Also, we are because In hills, there are different valleys are also there, and different kind of the environment and climatic conditions are also predominant. So the high seasonal precipitation was also observed in the many time. And the latter part of my presentation, I will show you some photograph of this Kedarnath tragedy of 2013. And you realize that how much this kind of the disaster can also be a part of. This is also the one of the important hazard in this time in the Uttarakhand also. Another is this our evolution history of this terrain. So now we are continuously changing from geologically and the geotechnically. So earthquake is the major hazard. I have a stop lots on about this thing. So our whole Uttarakhand is on zone 4 and zone 5. And this is the basically zone 4, zone 5 is like a highly sensitive to earthquake. And before the creation of this state, the recently in 10 years before, these two earthquakes has been occurred before the creation of this state. This is the 1991 Uttarkasi and 1999 Chamoli earthquake. And rather, this is a not a very big earthquake, but we have observed lots of losses, life loss have been also we have observed in these two earthquake, and many of our houses houses were also damaged, also collapsed, and many many different kind of the infrastructure are were also affected by these two earthquakes. This is not a big earthquake. This is around the 6 magnitude to the 6.5 magnitude Richter scale magnitude earthquake. But at that time, this Uttarakhand is a one of the part of the Uttar Pradesh, so it is not very developed. So the population and vulnerability, we can say the exposure is very low. But if the same kind of the event nowadays will be occur, then the losses will be too much high. And I have already told that we have basically potential that many great earthquakes, big earthquakes has been also occur in this area. So we are living in the zone where we can say that where we have also witnessed lots of big earthquake in the past, like 200 years back, 1803, the Garhwal earthquake is one of the biggest earthquake, and at that time this earthquake tremors have been felt up to the Rajasthan or up to the Madhya Pradesh. So this much big earthquake was already occurred in this area, and now this makes this region is a potential region for a housing for the major earthquake. So most of the earthquake can also be now it can be also we can say that in the near future if this seismic activity is continuously going on, so we can also observe many this kind of earthquake in the near future also. Another hazards are like the landslide, cloudburst, and flash flood are the very common in this region, and this is generally more in the time of the monsoon period. So these are the some photographs you can see. These are some landslide which were occur in the Uttarakhand, and these are the some of the places you can see and how this landslide have been occurred. So in the different part you can see that this is the one of the biggest landslide. This is the Ukhimat landslide in 1998 before the creation of this state, and the casualty is more than 100. So this complete village, 2 or 3 villages are situated here, and this landmass has completely come down. And this can also, you can see this is the river, and this is the Mandakini river, and the Mandakini river was blocked by this landslide. And at the time, and then after a few days, this was opened, because if it is not open, then a big disaster can also be happen, can be possible in the lower downstream of this river. So this is the one of the very important. This is the Malpa landslide, and casualties are more than 250. I think who are basically little bit interested on this field. So many of renowned artists are also died under this Malpa landslide, and this is the way to the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra route. So big boulders were broken down from the high hills, and the casualties are very high. So this is the very we can say the important lesson which Uttarakhand has learned. This is the Uttarkasi landslide of 2013. So this whole, you can see this is the whole Uttarkasi city, and this landslides was occurred from the top of this is the top crest of this thing, and from the 2-3 side this boulders and this whole this masses, this land masses were the rolled down, and this complete city was in the under threat. And but later on we have done lots of things, and we have stabilized this landslide successfully, and nowadays it is the city is almost safe in condition, and we have government of India and by the funding of the state government. So the massive landslide treatment was done in this landslide. So I will show you some pictures later of my this presentation. And this was the 2013 Kedarnath disaster, and I hope everybody has witnessed, or everybody have listened this news from the TVs as this kind of the flash flood and landslide was occurred, and this was the one of the biggest disaster which was happened after the creation of our Uttarakhand state. So you can see this is the damage in the Kedarnath, and this was taken by the drone, and we reach in this place after 3 days. So we have no idea that what kind of the disaster was happened in this area. So you can see this was the debris. This is the Kedarnath temple, and you see this is the one of the big rock. So now people are saying that our Lord Shiva has make this kind of the arrangement for to save this temple, and this rock mass is still there, and now it is behind this because if this rock mass was not there, then this complete structure will can also be completely vanished, completely destroyed, or maybe completely vanished in this flood. So, but fortunately, this long stone and rocks was through here, and this temple was safe. But you can see this is the complete mud, and you can say the complete boulders are there, and this is the up to the 5 to 6 meter. This was totally debris. This is the complete debris was totally there, and many of the life has been lost in this disaster. So this is in the Alaknanda river, and you see this is the infrastructure. One of the SSB academy totally collapsed. So you see this the Mandakini river, because this due to this heavy rainfall, and this Mandakini river was at that time in overflow. And this is the normal photograph of this Rudraprayag area. And this is the Rudraprayag. This is the almost it is near about, if we can say, 100 meter above. This is 90 to 100 meter above from this place. But you see this photograph. This is on 17th June when this disaster was occurred, and this was completely the river is flowing up to the over this bridge. So now you realize how much impact on this kind of the disaster at that time. So this is another part of Uttarakhand at the same time, and this is another region. This is the Kumaon region, where we have also observed this our all rivers are flowing at a very high velocities, and the water is flowing at they are above from the first flood level. So this is the devastation you can see. This is all this our big machineries, trucks, and everything. This is completely lost at that time. So after some time, if when our team was visited there, so you see that this is the buried vehicles there. So you see this impact. This much amount of the debris was flow from the upstream side, and this is the completely blocked this road. So we have at least at that time we have 3 to 4 months only to clean this kind of the debris in this area. So we are maintaining different data sets. So if you see this 2013, so this is the official figure, but official figure are generally very low. But as per my observation, the death losses are more than 10,000 at that time, and still the bodies are still missing bodies, and still we are finding the lots of bodies beneath this thing. And now this was one of the biggest disaster. Another is the forest fire, drought, hailstorm. These are some of the other disaster which was very predominant in the Uttarakhand. So what we have done basically, So now I would like to discuss, because disasters are, we cannot stop these disasters, but we have to be prepared to uh, tackle these kind of the disaster and the situation. So we have the separate Department of Disaster Management, and this disaster management was created after the immediately created after the creation of our state, and we are the first state in India, and I think we are the only state where our we have, I think, the separate ministry. So we have a separate department of disaster management. Otherwise, it is with the revenue department, or some agriculture in the some of the state with the revenue department. So like in the Odisha, I think it is with the revenue and disaster management. But in Uttarakhand, we have a separate ministry there, and separate minister is there for the disaster management. Now we have also the Uttarakhand State Disaster Management Authority. So this is the supreme body, and this is the basically for dealing all kind of the disaster. So presently, I am working here and as a senior consultant. And another is we have a research center also. Now it is merged with our Uttarakhand State Disaster Management Authority. This is the DMMC. So I have also worked with this organization 7 years. This is the Disaster Mitigation and Management Center. So we have done lots of research in this center, and now presently we are doing both of these organizations are now simultaneously working in this. Another is the District Disaster Management Authorities in the district level. So it is fully functional District Disaster Management Authorities. Also the State and District Emergency Operations Center. We have full-fledged Emergency Operations Center in state level at our this capital Dehradun, and also the District Emergency Operations Center at the district level. And these are also fully functional, and 24/7 we are working, and we have all kind of the advanced communication equipment already there. So we have also created the State Disaster Response Force. It is similar like the NDRF. So we have also the SDRF. I hope now I in this kind of the disaster response force are very much required. So other states are now also progressing on this. Other important disaster risk reduction initiatives that we have done. This is the hazard risk and vulnerability assessment. So this is the one of the unique assessment that we have done, and I will show you some of these photographs in the later on. And this is the under World Bank funded projects, and this is the one of the finest kind of the HRVA study which was done in Uttarakhand, and I have seen all this HRVA of the whole different part of the country, but this is the one of the best assessment present at the present condition, and it up to the block level. We have done lots of this kind of the modeling, and we can see the creating the different maps, and also the vulnerability profile. This is the and the economic losses. Everything we have created here, and slowly now we are also using these kind of the data sets, and now revising our policies for disaster management. Another is the raising and strengthening the SDRF. This is one of the important steps. Then training of community volunteers, capacity building for earthquakes, because this is the earthquakes prone state. So capacity building is a very important part. So at presently we are going up to the masons for this capacity building kind of the initiatives. I will show you some photographs also. Then we have also adopted the incident response system. I think this is one of the unique thing that we have done in our state also, because in the USA, this is called the incident command system. And now NDMA has given the directions to the all states that they can create this. They can also start the IRS. This is the incident response system where all department can be involved for the disaster response. So now we are doing very effectively this IRS system in our state. And now we have a separate rehabilitation policy, because Uttarakhand is a hilly state, so many of the villages are already in the very, we can already in the very disaster prone areas. So we have to be rehabilitate these people. And after this 2013, I think we have rehabilitated more than 2,500 different households from the different places, and also the many of the villages. I think till now 60 to 65 villages we have already rehabilitated in the different places. We have also the community radio policy. So in the different community we have different kind of the community radios are already working so that the communication cannot be back. Also, the training of our local people, this is called the Mahila Mangal Dal or Yuvak Mangal Dal. So this was also going on. Many of the MOUs we have already done with the different technical institutions because only USDMA cannot do these kind of the things. So we have done the MOUs. Now also our to strengthen the hydrometeorological network under this World Bank project, we have created the dense network. And before this 2013 flood, we have very sparse kind of the thing, and we're totally depending upon the IMD. But now presently we have deployed this hydrometeorological network in Uttarakhand, and presently near about 200 instruments we have this AWS and ARGs, or we can say that this surface field observatories, and also the snow gauges. So this was situated. This was installed at the various places. Also, we have done some warning generation kind of the thing infrastructure. It is not in whole state, but in the some of the things like the earthquake early warning kind of the things, and in the lower part of this Tihri Dam, we have created the infrastructure for the flood early warning kind of the thing. I will show you some photographs also. Also, the treatment of vulnerable slope like this Uttarkasi town, we have totally landslide. This is slope stabilization work was done, and apart from this Uttarkasi, I think more than 20 to 25 other slopes we have already treated for the slope stabilization. Different plans, SOPs are there. We have also the active GIS cells, and also we are conducting the regular mock exercises in the districts also in the state level. So this is our hazard vulnerability HRV study for the entire state, and this is under the World Bank project, and this was done one of the very we can say renowned agency. This is the DHI. This is the very much known name in the water related disaster. ERN is in Mexico. This is the one of the best agency for the earthquake related hazard. And Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand. This was the geospatial and landslide related activities. So AIT is also give their inputs, and they have also the part of this consultancy program. So these are these things. So I can go you little fast. So these are the different components of this study. You can see. So we have taken the important hazard like the earthquake, well flood, flash flood, landslide, and industrial. And then we have created this different kind of the vulnerability functions. We have gathered the different historical data. Then finally we created the vulnerability models, the hazard models, and then integrated into the risk assessment. And then this is for our DRDB disaster risk database. And this was now presently we are using for our disaster planning and other assessment. We have also done the lots of training and capacity building to our peoples in this area. So I think everybody know this thing. So hazard, exposure, and vulnerabilities. These three things are very important while we are assessing the risk. So this is the complete interaction of these three things: the exposure, hazard, and vulnerability. I was also told in my last lecture that we cannot do anything with the hazard, but exposure and vulnerability are important things. So how we can reduce this thing, exposure and vulnerability? So this can also affect our disaster management. So these kind of the data sets we have. These are some GIS maps. I think. For up to the block level, up to the different district level. So these kind of the complete data sets, all the kind of the infrastructure, schools, hospital, everything in the GIS platform, agricultural land use, and also the how much crops affected. And we have also make arrangement that by using the crowdsourcing and other things, and also using the artificial intelligence. So many of the buildings have been surveyed, and then after we have created the building topology of whole Uttarakhand. So these are the different types in the Uttarakhand, the housing pattern you can see. So it is now in the different part of the state. So we have classified this building topology, and then state hazard maps we have prepared under this project. So this is for the earthquake. You can see this is the hazard modeling for the earthquake. So we have to be created these kind of the different seismic source zone, and then finally find this thing. So we have also done some paleoseismic research while we are doing this thing, so that we understand that how big earthquake can be happen. So you see, this is the paleoseismic kind of the research what we have done, and then we found that how big earthquake was occurred in the past, and this was also gives some idea that how much big earthquake can be happen in the near future. So this we have done it in the very detailed manner, and this study was taken near about 3 to 4 years. So these are the some of the map you can see, and this was up to the block level. So this is the one of the district. Now I am showing this thing, but this is up to the block level. So it's a different return period. But 100-year return period, 250, 475. So as per the codal provisions, so we can choose this thing, and then we can create the maps. Another is the landslide. So we have created this landslide using this technology by the remote sensing and other thing, and also the taking some ground data. So digital elevation model we have to take. This is up to the 10 meter, and we have uh, also interacted with the NRSC people and the ISRO people while we are doing such kind of the different maps for this. So this is also the fuel flood. So you can see I am showing you just one example. So this is complete. This system is with us. So you see this is the area of like Rishikesh, Haridwar. So this is the Haridwar area. This is the Rishikesh area. This is the lower side of our we can say the plain area. So flood will be mostly affected at the plain area. So we can models these things, and sitting in our state emergency operations center, so we can make certain decisions. So running while we have some discharge data or some rainfall data, so we quickly run these models and then find out how much infrastructure can be affected by any kind of the disaster. So this kind of the information are very much required while we are doing it. So we have now statewide flash flood hazard map also, and some industrial list we have also. Rather, even we have not a very big industries in Uttarakhand, but in the plain areas we have lots of now new industries are coming. So this is the one of the important factors. So we have done this kind of the analysis that if some outbreak in some accident will be happen, so like in the Bhopal gas tragedy, if such kind of the event can happen. So how much people can be affected? So what are our route plans? How these factories are prepared? So we have shared this complete set of data set with these peoples also. Also, we have done some micro studies like for the city-wise studies. So these 2-3 cities we have also chosen. This is in the past while I am working with the disaster mitigation and management center. So in the Mussoorie city, Nainital city, because this is our tourist places. So and one of the this remote city, this is the Bageshwar. So we have assessed these things. So building wise data we have collected, and then we find out that many of the buildings are under the grade 5 damage also, and we have given this report to the government, and they have make certain arrangement, but you know that unfortunately in this country only the science research and this thing is not sufficient, because other parameters are also coming while we are drafting such policies or regulations. So if you approach to these houses which are seeing red, and you say that their house will be very much affected in case of the big earthquake, so they will be naturally they will be asked that is government having any policy to shift it me, or they can have how government can also give the compensation. So these things are still lacking in the government system also, and also the legal framework are also very much coming in the role while we are doing such. If we some order something to the do something, so legal framework are also. So government is working in the different kind of the pattern we can say, and different kind of the policies are there. So one policy cannot be completely for the one kind of the work. So different policies are also working together. So but we have done this study, and we know that if some earthquake, this is the Nainital city. So this is the cartoset image, complete image. So you can see this is the lake, Nainital lake, and complete city we have covered, and each and every house, most of the houses, I think near about 3,000 houses, we have take this data, and then we have run this model and then find it. This is the one of the city where in the another part of this is the remote city, but this is covered by the two major rivers, the Gomti and Saryu. And so also we have also studies this city in this thing. So also recently, 2-3 years back, while I am working with the World Bank project, so we have taken this is government building. This is a lifeline building vulnerability assessment, specific vulnerability assessment, and 12 near about 11,239 lifeline buildings we have studied, and then this was one of the very good study. If you go to if you want to go in detail, so you just type my name in Google, and then you found many of my papers also. I think 5-6 paper I have already written on this database. So this is one of the good studies, so that we understand that how much our this public building or the government buildings have been also in the risk of this earthquake, and this is the complete data set. And now we are also approaching for the how to make safe these buildings. So presently we are also doing retrofitting of some of these buildings, which are because retrofitting is the another step after this RBS. We go for the detailed vulnerability assessment. So we have done for the hospital buildings, 90 hospital buildings, we have created these DPRs. So this is a lengthy process, but slowly we are going on. Another important thing, but we have done this is the after this Kedarnath tragedy, because we also want to know that how our river. Hello.
What is it? Lifeline building means lifeline building.
Lifeline building means like the school building, hospital buildings. Okay, so at the time of disaster, these buildings should be always you needed. Like hospital cannot be closed at the time of disaster. I think you must aware that while this Gujarat earthquake was happened and this Bhuj earthquake, so many of the hospital building was totally collapsed. So, I think, you know, okay. So these hospital buildings are need at that time, because where to shift your these injured people. So at that time, I remember that at near the Bhuj, one of the big playground was converted to the hospital. All tents are there and people are.
Sorry, hello. Uh, Jasji, you can turn on your mic. It was inadvertently muted.
Sorry?
Hello, hello.
Hello, it is turned on now.
Yes, yes. Just a minute. Presentation is coming now.
Yes, coming.
Okay. So somebody have asked this question regarding what are the lifeline buildings. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So these are the lifeline buildings, and it is now it is very important that at the time of any disaster, the how much lifeline building will be working to for the response and other activities. So if it is if we have known such kind of the idea that how these lifeline buildings are there, so we need to be assess these buildings, and unfortunately that many of these buildings now in the government system are still not earthquake safe, or we can say the seismically safe. And this is due to the revision of the codes also the bad maintenance also, and many other factors are also predominant while we are dealing with these lifeline buildings. So I have done this complete research. So if you are interested, so you go on the internet and then you found it. So another important thing that we have done is to add to understand the flood related hazard, and this is the Uttarakhand River Information Management System we have created, and this is one of the best studies I think for the rivers, and we have taken the complete morphology of our four important river. This is the Alaknanda, Bhagirathi, Mandakini, and Kali river, and different phases we have done this study, and different data collection, and then also the flood modeling using the Mike. Mike is the one of the best software for mathematical modeling. But if you are interested on this flood related hazard, so some freeware or free software are also available, like the HackRAS. You can work on this, and the HackRAS you can do some small studies, research purposes. But we have done this thing, and this was now this complete study is hand over to the irrigation department, and they are also now working on these different in outputs which we have given to the irrigation department, and I think they will be using in their daily works also. So these are the different data sets that we have collected. I think you're not much interested. So you see that this is the rivers. These are the important rivers, and these all are the parts of Ganges. So up to the Devrayag, after the Devrayag, Ganga will be started. And we have done this study up to the Devrayag, because after Devrayag it was Ganga, and after the Devrayag, the CWC is now working on this complete Ganges catchment. So I think maybe this river morphology will also help to the Uttar Pradesh people or the Bihar people in the for this river protection kind of the work, or if they want to study the how the rivers can be worked. So this is the complete flow. So these are the different models. This is the, you can see the different morphological models, and it is now presently in our servers. So if you want in detail, so this is the another important thing. Now presently we are also implementing this system in our state. This is the establishment of decision support system. So this whole data set and every studies, so it will be not much useful for the policy maker or the decision maker. It is very, we can say the very much interesting, or we have some interest those people who are in the teaching, research, and these kind of things. But the decision maker, the IS officers or the policy makers or the bureaucrats or the our leaders, they don't want to very much, but they need some decision support kind of the thing. But how this decision support system can be made? So this is the input from the this studies which I was talking in the previously. So these studies, if these studies inputs are coming to this decision support system, so then we can do it very good decision making. So now we have created this decision support system, and now we are training our district level officials, and this complete 1 year program now we have launched in the 2-3 months back, and now we have deputed the staff to the district to train this system, because in the districts peoples are not much very presently not much very friendly with these kind of the software, or they are not very much tech savvy. So we have to be trained these kind of the things, like the nowadays the e-office is working. So but similar kind of the thing. So if it is coming the regular feature like our mobile kind of the thing, so then they can use at the time of disaster. So this is the online risk base which we have, and now it is completely going for the DSS. So these are the some DSS related things, and this is the open source. So we can do any kind of the analysis and sitting in our state emergency operations center. So this is the incident reporting, and then we can, you see that if suppose this area will be affected, so we can highlight this area, and then we can make our decision that how much ambulances are there, how much our hospitals are there, how much hospitals are affected, how much are not affected, which route are affected, and then we can give the directions to the concerned department also, and district magistrates can also take certain decisions using this kind of the system. So these things are now that this is a totally that technology can help on these kind of, like it is you are also using like this Google Map. So if you are using the Google Map, so you just set from one place to another place, and then you start your vehicle and then you go there. And if some suppose some road blockage or some heavy traffic is there, so it is also showing you this system. So similar kind of the things are also for the big level, or the we can say the for the larger level where while we are working for the disaster. So This system we have created, and now we are training our state officials for this. This is the raising and the strengthening of the our SDRF. So you see the advanced equipment. I think under this World Bank project, we have given more than 30 to 35 crores of the different advanced apparatus of, and the, some of the apparatus are still. These are the unique kind of the things, and in the some of the part it was ahead from the NDRF also. So this our SDRF team is separated as this is a separate NDRF team, and this was this SDRF these SDRF the SDRF peoples are very much important during our disaster response. So with the help of NDRF and with the help of other agencies, they can do lots of this kind of the search and rescue work. So this is our training and community. So because the disaster is very much important, while we important for the societal point of view. So you need to be train your society, because if your society will be aware, then the every disaster management kind of the efforts can be very much useful at the time of disaster. So many of the volunteers nowadays we are training, and many training programs are from up to the village level, Nyaya Panchayat level we are organizing, and these kind of the trainings are very important, and because community is the first responder anytime. So government can reach you after some time, the police personnel can reach you after some time, but first thing is the community. Is that community will be aware, and they know that how they can rescue themselves from their close peoples and their relatives and their other peoples who are need some help. So society peoples are the very much important. So we are regularly doing these kind of exercises. You see this our this community training for our this all are the women you see, and this is at the this is our traditional dress. So you see these women are there, and we have to be also now we reach up to these women who are living at the very far flung areas, and to teach these women so how if in case of any disaster, so how they can respond very properly. You see the this kind of the training. So this is the, because in the hills the problem is that because these are the high slopes are there. So sometimes what happen that like in the landslide, or sometimes even in the some motor accident. So I think you all are living in the plain area, but in the Uttarakhand, many road accidents are regularly happening. So the people are dying more than I think is the nominal days. The people are dying more in this these kind of the accidents. So we need that these kind of the arrangement also to we trained or we enhance the capacity of these people. So these are the some of the, you can see the CPRs or medical kind of the thing, medical trainings for these people. So we have some institutes here also which who teach and who trained our community also, and other peoples who are specialized in the search and rescue kind of the activities. So these are school level training. So we need that schools can also be uh, school can also be the part of such activities. So these are some photographs and how to train our community and other peoples. So you can see this is the all are these the community level. So disaster management is purely for the it is more effective if community will be. If community will be not, government cannot do anything, because government having the limited resources, government cannot reach each and every part. But what we can do it, we can reach to the each and every person so that they can self-sufficient and self-reliance at the time of any disaster. So this complete, we have also these volunteers database with us. So in case if suppose I want some of the area like the Bageshwar of one of our district, and this is the one of our Tehsil Kapur. If suppose I want to talk to these people and then say that we need the services of yours, so then we can also contact these people also. So this complete set of data set we are maintaining. Another important thing what we are doing is the capacity building for earthquake construction. This is one of the important program. So many of national level programs are were also conducted in the past, and where we have trained our lots of engineers of earthquake resistant construction, because earthquake resistant construction generally not taught in the graduation level. Now it was little bit excelling in the some of the institutes, and very soon I think one of the engineering bills are also pending in the Rajya Sabha when this engineering bill was passed, and I think this earthquake engineering is one of the subject as a, in the as one of the subject with the polytechnic people, polytechnic students also, and for the our this graduation level student also. So these trainings are going on, but the most important is the masons, because who construct your house? Your house will be your house will be constructed by only the mason. So if your mason will if your masons are not trained, so you cannot make anything this is a safe construction. So now we targeted on these masons, and now we have now doing we are for the last since last 15 year we are conducting such a training to train hands-on training program. So we go to the field, and our trainers are also going to the different places, and they teach to the our these masons that how they can build the a safe construction house, safe construction house for their people. So these kind of the trainings were also conducting in our state, and you see that what I am telling you on that this one single steel bars are very useful in case of, so this kind of the arrangement how it will be possible. So our this trainer will be teaching to our all masons that this can be done. So this is the complete building. So you see that this is the band which I am talking. This is the plinth band. This is the lintel. This is the plinth band. This is the sill band. This is the lintel band. This is the top band. So all bands are there, and these kind of the small demo units. I think more than 70 places presently we have demonstrated in our state. I think almost all of our tehsils, some of the tehsils and some of the blocks are I think remaining, but most of these blocks are there, so people can go there, because everyone have has everyone which living in the living in the different districts, they have some work with the district administration. So while they are going there, so this building they demonstrated. It is also maybe some office are also there, some of the staff are also sitting. So while they are moving around this building, so they can see that these are some of the features which can make their house earthquake safe. So this kind of the things we have done. So you can see we have created some half structure also, so that people can understand that how it will be prepared, how this different reinforcement can be done on this building. So these are the some of the pictures which I want to show that how we can train our community level and training of different. So this is the one of the gable band you can see. So in case of the slant roof, so how the gable band can be given. So every kind of the training we are now we are trying to give to our community. Another important thing is that the guidelines for earthquake safe construction has been also we have prepared for our state perspective. So because we have many vernacular kind of the structures in our state, and we require to documentate some of the good things which are the part of earthquake safe in these. So if you interested, so you visit our website also, and then you find it something. So another is the retrofitting. So presently, I think many of buildings it was written 8, but I think now it is more than 20. So these kind of the retrofitting works we are doing on, and this retrofitting is a very important thing. And so the old buildings can be retrofitted using this technology, and you can see. So we are nowadays using this ganiting machine. This is the similar kind of the arrangement which you have seen in case of the shortcreting of any dam projects or then the road project. So we have our some of our contractor in our state, they have now made these kind of the devices. So this complete set, this is the complete, you can see this is the steel reinforcement. And if you want to make earthquake safe to building, So as per the design, it can be made. So this is the use of this salt treating machines. So after the completion of this building, so these bands you can see it was not previously in this building. So now it was now there, and now this building will be at least safe for the at least for medium range of the earthquake. So, but it is not collapse. If in case of major earthquake will be happen, then also it will not collapse. So you can save your life in this. So this is the one of the school building you are showing. So the one big school you can see. So this is a complete block and stone masonry. So you see that how we have created this different. So now we have chipped out this thing, and then we have created this columns are here. So it was previously not there. So retrofitting is one of the important thing, and for making our old infrastructure earthquake safe, so we need that this technology should be adopted in our old housing. Also, we are also doing some non-structural kind of the things. So this is the non-structural means the structure which are loosely connected in the different buildings. So it was also required to be connected very properly. So the IRS, so IRS is already in the active state in Uttarakhand. So you see some of the photographs of the mock exercise, because in the government system you need some mock exercise, because if earthquake or any of big disaster will be happen, if we are not prepared, so then we cannot deal at the time of the disaster. So these are the some of these exercise also. We have now rehabilitation policies. These policies are already we have formulated for the rehabilitation of our villages. Community radio are also there. Training of Mahila Mangal Dal, MOU with the technical organization. Like we have done some MOUs for the understanding the different kind of the technical or scientific issues. So now presently IMD and ISRO and Wadia Institute and other scientific agencies, we have some MOUs so that they can help at the time of the disaster. And they are also giving the regular updates, like for our climatic conditions and other thing IMD will be giving. And in case of some satellite related, like in the recently in the rainy disaster in the last 7th February, which was when this glacier was one of our glacier in Chamoli district was broken, and flood. This caused lots of floods in the downstream area, and more than 200 people in the two of the power plants which was under construction was totally vanished. So this ISRO people has helped lot at that time to giving some satellite based data. So this is our hydrometeorological network. So if you are interested, so you can go also there. So this is the open website, so you can see that how much weather is there. So this weather data is very important during the rainy season and monsoon season also, and during the winters also. So you can see this complete Uttarakhand is now covered by this hydrometeorological network. So the regular data is coming to our stations, and we are also within a 15 minutes this data is syncing to our servers. And if any station was down or maybe there is some problem, so we can directly connect to our this service provider, and they go there and then they correct this thing. So you can see this is the Kedarnath. You see after this Kedarnath tragedy, now this is the one of the station there. So we are now observing this thing. These all are then the high hills. This is the Badrinath. I think Kedarnath, Badrinath, Gangotri, everybody knows these pilgrims. This is another part. This is the Rajgadi, and this is the lower part. It is in the middle Himalayas. This is we can say. So these kind of the instruments are there, and these instruments are continuously transmitting the data from the weather. So presently, this much amount of the weather stations running to give the climate or weather related data to us. So the total that I am showing the previous slide. So now the another important thing that this yesterday I have talked to you about this early warning system. Somebody raised this question also. So now near about 200 stations of seismic sensors we have deployed for earthquake early warning, and this was successfully running at presently. And I hope I hope that in case of any such a disaster and any earthquake, big earthquake will happen, so this will be warned our peoples. But it was not. We are doing the mock exercise on these things, but The real testing will be done on that day when some bigger one will be hit in this area. But it is now successfully running in Uttarakhand. Another important thing is this, what I have told you, the flood related early warning for the downstream. So at the Tihri Dam, it was one of the biggest dam in northern India is the Tihri Dam. So the Tihri Dam is, you realize this, that the extent of the only the reservoir behind this dam is 42 kilometer square. So this is the one of the biggest dam, and 42 square kilometer lake below behind this dam means the such a amount of the water is there, and it was totally because one this is a Tehri is the one complete city. Now this complete city is now totally under this huge amount of the water. So this much amount of the water is retaining behind this dam. So we need that we have to be some early warning kind of the thing in case of some dam breach will be occur, or sometimes some water will be released from this dam. So we have created this early warning kind of the thing. So you see that this was at the 8 places we have deployed this kind of the system. So in case some water level will be rising, so community should be warned by these sirens. So this is the automatic sirens, and it was directly connected to our to the TSDC control room also, and also our state emergency operations center. So we can blow these sirens, and then we can warn the people in case of the any sudden rise. So these are the, you can see these photographs of this thing. So this is at the Rishikesh. So up to the Rishikesh, we have deployed this complete set. Also, we are using the SMS service for utilized for sending the this warning messages, and this is depending upon the BSNL frequency, and also we are now also trying some other SIMs also. Treatment of the vulnerable slopes. So you see this is the Varnavat slope. So this is the August 2003, and in 25 September 2003, it was this much amount of the landslide was there, and after that, the complete city was under threat. So this was the figure of 2013. So 2003, sorry, 2003, and now presently this is the present picture. So you see that whole this complete treatment are there. So you see that up to this level, this is the geogrids are there, and this complete here is the long geogrid walls, and this we can say the concrete walls are also used at the lower side when this was there, and but this is the complete geogridding, and also nails are there, and nails we can control this thing. Now this vegetation are also coming there. So maybe in the uh, if you have some time and you want to visit this place, so you can see that is the complete set of treatment in the Varnavat. So also we have done other slopes. We are also working, and we have prepared some DPRs, but also they are executed. And preparation of the plans, the state and district disaster management plan are also being regularly updated. So every department is taken under for making these SOPs or for our plans, so that at the time of disaster we can work together, and IRS system, or we can the nodal officers can work very together. So we have now also the dedicated GIS cells in the each district. So because we need this data sets should be in some uh, data set should be in our GIS environment. GIS environment means it is a digitized kind of the thing. So we can use it in the different manner. So this kind of the maps we are preparing in our uh, center, disaster mitigation and management center, and also in the different districts. This was also going simultaneously. Many schemes, government schemes, which are under the NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority. So these are also working. So these are the pictures you see. This is the mock exercise. So huge level mock exercise we are conducting in Uttarakhand. So everybody like the army, paramilitary, so everybody will now. So this is our emergency operations center you see, and so our secretary sir is sitting here. So you can see this all secretaries are there, so they can work together. So The mock exercise is not like that. It is just like that. It is the we fear, at that time we feel that disaster has been occurred. It was not actually occurred, but we feel that. So how we are working, as then our observers are also there who can find out the some shortcomings in this thing. So these are the some mock exercise. Before this any exercise, we have to we also some. This is the tabletop kind of the exercise we are doing. So you can see our police personnel. So these are some helicopters are deployed during this mock exercise. All are sitting, and you can, this is the complete deployment, just like a disaster, to understand this thing. So we can make such, also somebody have also peoples and volunteers are also taking part, so that we can use that how ambulances are working efficiently and how much time it will be take, our fire services. So this is the, for the forest fire related things. So different instruments, how the different instruments can be used. So these kind of the preparedness are very much required during this. So you can see this is the earthquake kind of the thing. So earthquake mock exercise, this was done uh, I think 10 years back, but it was very successful, and this is the one of the first mock exercise in the any of this hilly region at that time. So this was done. So these are the just only photograph I want to just realize how the disaster management is working. So other initiative is workshop, seminar. These are the some regular features. So coordinating with the different government agencies, government related departments, some national level or international levels are also we are doing. Mass awareness is the one of the important things. So in the schools we are doing many things, like for the teaching to the for giving to teaching our students and to give awareness to our students. So we are doing this Nukkad Natak kind of the things we are also performing. And disaster management is already included in our school curriculum presently, and audio visual as well as the printed IC material. Lots of IC material presently we have, and I think we are the state in whole India which have the most IC material. So you can, if you for the related to any except from the this cyclone and these things, because cyclone is not a part of this restate, but otherwise landslide, earthquake, flooding. So you, if you use, you can visit our website USDMA or the DMMC. So you find lots of literature there, lots of this kind of the IEC material. So this can be help to the people to understand this thing. Special program are also. So we are also making some films also. Telefilms are also, teleplays, Doordarshan, many things. So these some movies, some professional movies which are our in our local languages in the Kumaoni and Gadwali, we have also prepared, and we are also showing in the different platforms to these things. So this is the Koti Banal. This is the one of our vernacular architecture, and this was written by me and one of my executive director, Dr. Vatela. So we have done this thing, and if you go to our website, so you find this book also, and lots of these IEC material pamphlets, books are. So these are the unique structure you see, and these structures are 1000 year back. So we have done complete research on these structures. We have done the carbon dating, and then we find out that so this arrangement was done our ancestors 1000 year back. You see this how this wooden locks has been used. So this is complete wooden locks, and one locks is from here to here. So this is a complete locking system. So this is a 5-story building. So then now you realize that how our ancestors are at that time, they are making such kind of the structures. I was also, you see other parts of the India, like many of the temples in the south of the area, and also in the like in the Odisha, I was visited in the Puri. So I saw that this high rise temple of the Puri. So these are the some artisans. We have some indigenous knowledge who understand the disaster, who understand that how the nature was behaving. So by only observing these things, they are creating such a huge kind of the thing. At that time, there was no engineering. So sometimes we have we think that we are the engineers and we know each and everything. But as per my opinion, that some of the peoples who understand the nature, because you know that we have done the carbon dating, and this was 1000 year back. I think in the 12th century or 13th century, these structures were and still intact. So nothing has been loosened because lots of earthquake. I think these were occurred after this last 1000 year back, but still these are intact. So at that time there is no Newton. Earthquake engineering is coming after I think this 19th century, but at that time Newton is also not there. So they are not even by calculating these things, they are not understanding this thing, but analytically they are not understanding this thing. But their observations are very strong, and they understand that which structure should be sustained in this kind of the environment. So we have documented these kind of the things also. So if anybody has to, so many of the books are there. If somebody are interested, so you can also ask. Many magazines are we are writing. Many programs, mass awareness, voluntary, so that people some painting competitions. So these all things are very much required where we are doing some disaster preparedness. We have some painting competitions for the school children. So some photographs are old, some are. This is our emergency operations, but it is not old. This is some old photograph. Now it was totally changed, and now we are making our own state-of-art emergency operations center, which is SDMA building. This is based on the base isolation techniques where we are using the bearings. So this is the fine. I think next year we will be shifting on this building. So continuously, this our EOC is working 24/7. So you can call anytime 1070 are the number in Uttarakhand. But if you are say, outside, so it was if your state will be working on this number, so you directly connect to your state emergency. So this 1070 for your state emergency operation center. Any of the state, if 1070 is linked with this our is working properly, then if you dial 1070, it is directly go to a emergency operation center. If you are in the district, so 1077 you can dial. So these are the some of things. Thank you very much. And if you have any answer, any questions related to this or my some of the previous lectures, so I am ready. So I have now I think 5 to 10 minutes. So I think I can. Thank you everyone, and Manoranjan ji, now over to you.
Okay, if there is any question from the participant side? No, if not, we are going to close the session. But before that, I want to thank Dr. Joshi for his nice presentations during last 3 sessions. Really informative and educative. And he has given you some rare pictures and rare data that is not generally available to the layman. So we are on behalf of the organizing committee, we are indebted to Dr. Joshi.
Thank you, Manoranjan ji. And because the time is somehow it is not go through in detail, but the whatsoever I want to discuss on this short period, so I will try to do it as much as possible. Thank you very much, all of the participants. And if you have any queries, you just if you have any kind of the information, so you visit our website also, Uttarakhand State Disaster Management Authority, or our DMMC, Disaster Mitigation and Management Center. So you find lots of literature, what I have shown today. So you go there and you can find there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you again. Hello, somebody has to say anything? Okay, thanking you again. We will now switch over to the assignment questions, which has been posted in the WhatsApp. So all the participants are requested to mark it within 10 p.m. So let us now close the session. Thank you all.
Thank you.